Good evening to all. My name is Chandrakant Salunkhe. I'm the founder and president of the SME Chamber of India. It's a 28 years old organization which is working for the growth of SME sector at local and global level. We are representing more than 1.5 billion SME sector in India. We are on the forefront of the policy making, policy implementation, supporting SMEs for go global, and of course, to exploring various business opportunity and educating them, building the bridge between inbound investment. So I'm going to speak about how the human businesses and building businesses of the future, because most of the important that during this pandemic the SME sector is impacted sector, and they have to decide how to revive or survive or a long-term survival. This is my topic. Thank you.
And let's focus now on the subcontinent. Chandrakant, tell us a little bit about what you're seeing, especially among the members of your Chamber of Commerce, how workers are getting affected and infected because the workplace safety mechanisms might not be there. The vaccines are not fully rolled out, obviously, in much of the world. What are you seeing from your perspective in India, please, with respect to worker safety and COVID-19?
Thank you, James. This was really very, very difficult time and task for the SME sector when the corona entered in India. At the end of the January, few cases, then February, few cases, then March was started. The cases become a double digit and 3 digit in the month of March. So the first lockdown started from the April onwards, and the Indian SMEs are not prepared for this kind of pandemic or prepared for this gel or other difficult time. But nevertheless, they in 2 months' time they took over properly. They have come on the track after May, and my chamber has played a very, very important role for the encouraging the SMEs to those involved in essential product manufacturing, because all the industries, all the laborers, migrant labor left from the city, from the industry. And therefore, so many challenges faced by the SME sector, particularly manufacturing industry in India. But nevertheless, with the government, central government, union government, particularly with the state government, they have started encouraging the company owners, small entrepreneurs, to start their business, start manufacturing industry, bring some limited workforce and start manufacturing, particularly the essential products, because that time mostly the packaging industry, plastic industry, paper industry, it was very, very important for the healthcare sector. Those are manufacturing their medicines, those are manufacturing healthcare products. So therefore we have started encouraging the SME. And after the June 2020, then slowly we started rolling. And during that time, James, you will be happy to note that most of around 50% SMEs, and Anand Singh must be aware about it, those are not even utilizing the digital platform. They have started utilizing digital platform till June 2020. They started using the platform. Rather, we say work from home. I said, no, do business from home. Doing business from home. That concept I brought in the SME sector. We have, supported them to identify affordable technology, useful technology. Therefore, most of the SMEs started doing business from the home, and they started encouraging company. And I'm thankful to Mr. Modi, our Prime Minister, who has brought with our efforts, who has brought the emergency credit facility for SME sector, because most of the SMEs are dependent on the supply chain finance and the banking sector. So Mr. Modi has brought very, very essential product, which is the emergency loan, and therefore all the SME sector, using this particularly financial fuel, they started producing the quality product, and not only for local market, they have started producing the international market. So this is a story is going on for last 2 years, but I want to tell you that SME sector from India came on a track very, very fast. They have started the production, and most importantly, the Honorable Prime Minister of India and the Commerce Minister had given us a target. The target for achieving the 400 billion US dollars exports for this year, from April 2021 to December 2020 December, and now the 3 months we will be crossing more than 500 billion US dollars exports. So this is the role of played by SME sector. And of course, we have target 2030. We want to go more than $3 trillion exports. So these challenges I have to come as India is growing, India is achieving the target. Thank you.
Chandrakant, can you tell us a little bit about how the SMEs are adapting in this hopefully soon to be post-COVID world, but with respect to technology specifically, and how they are using? I mean, India is the home of so much of the technology, the home of the IIT, the Indian Institute of Technology, and so much more. What are you seeing, particularly among the SMEs which don't have nearly as big a budget to adopt these things?
In India, around say 75 million SMEs are there, MSME, micro, small, and medium-sized industries. In that, 50% SMEs are dependent only on manufacturing sector, and they have started adopting the advanced technology, affordable technology, patented technology, and therefore our SME Chamber of India is putting a lot of efforts, educating, encouraging, supporting SMEs to identify advanced technology, identify new and advanced machines, equipments for quality productivity. Because in India, the most of the family businesses, Anand aware about the family businesses run by families, operated by families, and they are focusing more on the more productivity. Now, this pandemic, every person in India, every entrepreneur learn that technology is important, how the Davos has become a digital from last year. So similarly, we have also started adapting the digital system, the advanced technology. Rather, let me give you proudly I can say that Indian SMEs are now ready to compete in the fourth industrial revolution. They have started improving their industrial automation. They have started, improving their quality, the productivity, because we have to compete with China. We have to compete with the world market. So therefore, we are encouraging, supporting them for quality productivity. We are focusing the brand India product in the international market. How we can brand Indian products made by Indian SMEs, that is our role. That is my chamber role. Supporting Indian SMEs, fueling them by finance, fueling them through the manpower, and mostly the raw material, affordable raw material, easily available raw material. We are putting efforts. And most importantly, Indian institutes, like you said, IIT and other institutes in India, producing the quality manpower for the future. Because Honorable Prime Minister of India has shown the new India a path. That path, we are walking on that path. So our role and our responsibility to encourage new entrepreneurship, encouraging entrepreneurship to producing the quality productivity, not only for local market, but global market. So I want to say that proudly the Indian SMEs are becoming very strong, and most of the, in the next 4 years' time, you will see that India is a manufacturing hub. So all world will come to India to take product from
in India, and particularly with your SMEs, are you seeing, because here in North America, labor unions are less and less powerful over time. We're seeing less membership. We are seeing global competition as the great globalization bargain plays itself out with all these multilateral and regional and bilateral trade agreements in the U.S. and all really the so-called globalized North, or the industrialized North, I should say, Western industrialized countries. We've seen a lot of jobs, manufacturing jobs, smokestack economy move to other parts of the world, the developing world. That's not a secret. That's been going on since the end of the Cold War. But I'm curious, in India, are you seeing especially because of the pandemic, a renewal of created by the pandemic?
Nowadays, in India, there is no labor. Unions are very active because most of the Indian industries in a SME sector, particularly small and medium sector, they are securing their manpower because they are educating the unskilled to skilled, and they are educating them to work properly in their business, and they are treating them as a family member. So therefore, in SME sector, there is no labor union harassment or interference going on. But now, the large corporate in India, they have labor union, particularly for the welfare system, particularly for improving the technological development, particularly the securing the interests of the labor, in the political level also. they have an interest of the political base also, because this is a large voter bank, so therefore they play very important. But in the Indian industry, particularly SME sector, there is no role at all of the labor union. And labor union, because of the wipeout, because of there is a particularly political movement, political interference. So every entrepreneur, every businessman now learn about how to secure the interest of their employees, giving proper their welfare, providing their wages, providing their salary properly, and mostly they are looking there. During this pandemic, each company they have given shelter, they have given food, they have given all this arrangement to stay in their factory. But our Prime Minister, Government of India, has brought new idea that wherever the industry, manufacturing industries are there, they are setting up the labor camp, employment camp, constructing the houses, low budget houses where the labor can stay, where the labor can afford to stay nearby the factory, nearby, and they can't travel. And in India, there is a huge, huge gap for a particular migrant labor. Once there is a pandemic started, once any political movement started, all migrant labor goes to their hometown. Therefore, coming back is a difficulty. But now everything is coming on the track, and I'm sure that next 3 months' time we will be achieving a proper target growth. And most of the time, Corona will be now going to, I don't know how many years he's surviving, but nevertheless, Indian people have started learning, started competing with the world market, and starting, surviving this Corona pandemic.
For that, Devon, do you have a sense? And
James, can I add one sentence?
Go right ahead. Go right ahead, James.
See, we are talking about migrant labor and migrant manpower. In the Middle East, the Indian people are more than 9 million people are working in the Middle East. During this pandemic, more than 2.5 million people came back to India. Why? Because industry is growing, industry is moving ahead. So therefore now people started coming back to India, work here, identifying their jobs in India. So it is a reverse mechanism started now because of pandemic. And usually the international travel is not working. And mostly the Indian companies are providing labor, providing the manpower, and providing the proper services. Therefore, Indian companies are coming ahead. You look at our capital market, look at our production, look at our productivity, and look at our role of Indian government. So therefore, India is moving, India is going ahead.
Chandrakant, what's your sense of whether machines have rights and kind of the rollout of some of this more deep learning AI among your SMEs in India, please?
Yes, of course, every industry nowadays, improving their capacity, improving their, technological development. Even, Indian companies have started adopting the, unique concepts, particularly for, producing the quality productivity. We have to compete with the European market. We have to enter in US market. We have to compete with the other world market. Therefore, AI, rather, industrial automation, even they are entering into the third digital revolution, because digital revolution is one of the best transformation for every company, every enterprise, and mostly the industrial revolution is happening in the world. Rather, India is ready to fourth, but the world is ready to compete with the fifth industrial revolution. So therefore, we are educating, we are empowering, we are encouraging our SME sector to to adopt the advanced technology, look at the unique things. And another very interesting point nowadays, most of the foreign companies are knocking the door of Indian companies. SME Chamber of India is providing ready-made industrial park, ready-made industrial premises. We have state-of-the-art, the industrial premises, industrial units, where world company can come down here. They don't want to go for a construction, all these things. But my SME Chamber of India can provide a value addition services to identify the unique support. So this is the work we are doing, and I'm sure that our next 5 years we will be achieving more than at least around say 95 million SMEs in India. So where we can provide all the manufacturing hub capacity and the possibility for the world market.
Thank you, Chandrakant. What's your sense, please? SMEs. I mean, can they afford to do the things that are necessary to push ESG, or are they still, bootstrapping everything, and should we hold them to the same degree accountable as we do the bigger multinational enterprises?
Usually in Indian SMEs are accountable for providing the value addition, particularly for the employment generation, contribution by industry productivity, contribution for exports, and mostly the encouraging the youth to convert as an entrepreneur. Because in India, most of the companies nowadays started giving the entrepreneurship. So therefore, generating new entrepreneurs is a new challenge. And because of this pandemic, every startups also face a lot of problems. Even Devon said, the women entrepreneurs, not only in India, but other countries also face a lot of problems, many challenges, many hurdles. So this pandemic created and educated the Indian people or overseas people that how to survive, how to revive in this pandemic. And lastly, what I am sending the message to my SME sector, same message to the world my SMEs will be reform, transform, or better performance. Then only they can survive, they can. Thank you.
Chandrakant, what's your sense of some good thing or a good thing that has come out of all of this?
People learn that, importance of the technology and importance of the healthcare or medical sector. And mostly, finally, all families come together, the relatives come together. They started, asking to each other, how are you, how's your health, and what are we. So this is the pandemic brought the family together. They have started, loving each other more and more and more. But I suggest the pandemic go away fast. Go Corona fast.
From your mouth to God's ears. Yale, you get the final thought, and then we'll close it up.
What an awesome responsibility. Well, first of all, I agree with Devon, Thomas, Chandrakant, and everything they said, obviously correct. But I think since I have less choices to pick from now, since I gave my speech, I would say something really, I think, important. The great sacrifices, the healthcare workers, the frontline people who risk their lives saving the rest of us, the brilliance and dedication of the scientists and the people working to get the vaccines and treatments to us. When we work together as a world, this is a good example. The world faced a big challenge of destruction, of lethal destruction, and quickly worked hard and did things that are incredible to get the vaccines out so quickly. So together, we can help make a difference, is how I would put it.
Awesome. What a great way to end the panel. I want to thank everybody for participating. This was not easy to kind of string all this stuff together as we bootstrapped the panel, but you did so with soul, you did so with wit and with candor, and it was just a really good experience. Thank you, Thomas, Juli, PhD, Devon, Ogden, Abhi Sinha, Chandrakant, and Yale Fishman. Thank you all for participating. I'm Professor James Cooper from California Western School of Law, and I'm also a research fellow at the Singapore University of Social Sciences. There's the plug. You've been watching Digital Davos 2022 with an incredible international, intersectional, and multidisciplinary panel, but 2 members of the SGA, so I'm hoping that we can get some credit somewhere. Thank you all. Be well. Carl, we'll send it back to you, and please stay safe all.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Thank you. We had a wonderful conversation with you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you very much, Professor.
Thank you, Khan. Thank you very much, Khan.